Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo 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 Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam Sani Chayam Ashtaprayesu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very themes on the English, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of God. By regular attendance in classes of Bhagavatam. Loving service unto the personality of God, with praises, constantly songs, Can you name few irrevocable?
The sun rises in the east.
The sun rises in the east. Have you ever seen sun rising on the south? Yes.
Death and taxes.
Death and taxes.
Student loans.
Student loans. Well, you might be forgiven. Or if you are smart enough, you run into the superstar influencer, rich person. You can ask them to pay them off. Yeah, give your hand. Just okay, yeah. These are all examples of irrevocable facts. So what's established from within, it's like eating a good meal, right? When you eat a good meal, you feel, you are satisfied, and you feel your strength is back in order, right? So this is the result of eating a good meal. That's also irrevocable fact. You just know it, you feel it. So similarly, this would happen when we absorbed ourselves in two things: service to book Bhagavad and service to
Pure devotee.
person Bhagavad. There's two things: book Bhagavad and person Bhagavad. So those two things are required for purification of the heart when things are established from within as irrevocable fact. You just know it. You'll be experiential. It won't be a theory, a faith-based only, but experience. It's mostly faith-based only, but you'll be like really experience. Okay, so we are in part of Bhagavatam. We're just shifting to the original dialogue, which is a dialogue between. What is the original dialogue of Bhagavatam? There's many dialogues, but what is the original one? Last chapter we had a dialogue between Narada and Brahmaji. It's another example of spiritual master and disciple. And then now we're shifting back. We already started yesterday to the original dialogue, and that is.
Sutta Goswami and the sages?
No, that's one of them, but that's not the original one. Yeah.
Shukadeva and Parikshit Maharaj.
Yeah, Parikshit Maharaj and Shukadev. What happened to Parikshit Maharaj? Huh?
He got cursed.
He got cursed. What was the curse?
He would die in 7 days.
So, but before we get into it, I just want to thank all of you for this rip-roaring kirtan, both for Mangal Arati and, and for Puja. It's always amazing. I want to thank also our Krishna Lunch team. You guys are, like a karma chain disruptors. So many students are being benefited by your endeavors. And I want to emphasize how important it is, as Prabhupada said, for each one to teach one. And in the process of each one teaching one, we should not be upset. Don't get angry at the lazy ones because they don't do nothing. If that was supposed to be a joke. um, did you know? I just want to share a few things. Did you know that every second in the world, and this might actually put things a little bit in perspective. Every second in the world, there's 3 people that die, and there's almost 5 people that take birth. So there's an increasing rate of population in a place that it's by nature, transient. This place is called Martya Loka, it's a place of death, and nobody gets out of here alive. So there's an increasing rate of population in a place that is transient and where nothing can actually sustain for too long. Do you think that's a problem? Do you think that's an issue? What is the problem with material perspective of things?
Scarcity.
That's fine.
End of it.
Hmm?
It ends.
It ends, yes. I just kind of gave it away. It's temporary. Yes.
I was gonna say that you lose your focus in like the spirituality process, yeah. Like in the what was your question, right?
Yeah, what is the problem with material perspective of things?
Like you started losing focus in like the spiritual world.
Yeah, you lose focus. It's a place of distraction. Have you ever been distracted before? So easy, right? So, so yeah, that these are all issues, and eternal spiritual soul. It's never really okay with material, scheme of things. It's an incompatible situation. But most people are distracted, or rather deluded, and seduced to a big lie. Right? They might give you a small truths, relative truths along the way, a carrot and a stick. But at the end, it's a big lie. The man behind the curtain, the story of Visit of Boss, right? So, in order to avoid that, there's a need to, declare the war against delusion, Prabhupada said. So, Parikshit Maharaj, and we're getting into that, he was cursed, and he had 7 days. What is our situation? Have we guaranteed 7 days? Are we guaranteed 7 minutes? 7 seconds? There's a danger at every step, right? It's a danger at every step. Our existence is very, very fragile. That can happen at any moment. You want to hear another joke? This is also very nice and educational. There was a doctor and a man came for the checkup. And he said, okay, we'll do some tests. And you come back in 7 days. So 7 day passed. He did all the tests, 7 day passed. He came back to see a doctor, and the doctor said, well, the man entered. What? How many results? The doctor said, I have good news and a bad news. Which one you want to hear first? He said, well, give me the good news first. said, you only have 2 days to live, doctor said. 2 days to live? That's the good news. What is the bad news? He said, the bad news is I was looking for you all day yesterday. So we never know how much time we have. We never know how much time we have. That is reality. So because of that, our procrastination, the tendency to procrastinate important things, should be replaced with sense of emergency. And today's purport will be all about that. Are you ready? Okay, let's dig in. We're going to first read the entire section, which is, I believe, to 20, rest of the chapter, right? Yeah. Okay, so it's 7 to the end. I can start. O learned Brahmana, the transcendental spirit soul is different from the material body. Does he acquire the body accidentally or by some cause? Will you kindly explain this? But it is known to you.
If the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whose abdomen the lotus stem sprouted, is possessed of a gigantic body according to his own caliber and measurement, then what is the specific difference between the body of the Lord and those of common living?
Brahma, who was not born of a material source, but of the lotus flower coming out of the navel abdomen of the Lord, is the creator of all those who are materially born. Of course, by the grace of the Lord, Brahma was able to see the form of the Lord.
Please also explain personality of Godhead, who lies in every heart as the super soul and as the Lord of all energies, but is untouched by his external energy.
O learned Brahmana, it was formerly explained that all the planets of the universe with their respective governors are situated in the different parts of the gigantic body of the Virat Purusha. I have also heard that the different planetary systems are supposed to be in the gigantic body of the Virat Purusha. But what is their actual position? Will you please explain that?
Also, please explain the relation of the time between creation and creation, and that of other subsidiary creations, as well as the nature of time and the sound of past, present, and future. Also, please explain the duration and the measurement of life of the different living beings, etc. of the universe.
O purest of the Brahmanas, please also explain the cause of the different durations of time, both short and long, as well as the beginning of time, following the course of action.
Then again, kindly describe how the proportionate accumulation of the reactions resulting from the different modes of material nature act upon the desiring living being, promoting or degenerating him among the different species of life, beginning from the demigods down to the most insignificant creatures.
O best of the Brahmanas, please also describe how the creation of the globes throughout the universe, the heavens, the sky, the planets, the stars, the mountains, the rivers, the seas, and the islands, as well as their different kinds of inhabitants, takes place.
Also, please describe the inner and outer space of the universe by its specific divisions, as well as the character and activities of the great souls, and also the characteristics of the different classifications of the castes and orders of social life.
Please explain all the different ages in the duration of the creation, and also the duration of such ages. Also tell me about the different activities of the different incarnations of the Lord in different ages.
Please also explain what may generally be the common religious affiliations of human society, as well as their specific occupational duties in religion, the classification of the social orders, as well as the administrative royal orders and the religious principles for one who may be in distress.
Kindly explain all about the elementary principles of creation, the number of such elementary principles, their causes, and their development, and also the process of devotional service and the method of music.
What are the opulences of the great mystics, and what is their ultimate realization? How does the perfect mystic become detached from the subtle astral body? What is the basic knowledge of the Vedic literatures, including the branches of history and the supplementary Puranas?
Please explain unto me how the living beings are generated, how they are maintained, and how they are annihilated. Tell me also of the advantages and disadvantages of discharging devotional service unto the Lord. What are the Vedic rituals and injunctions of the supplementary Vedic writing? And what are the procedures of religion, economic development, and satisfaction?
Please also explain how, merged in the body of the Lord, living beings are created, how the infidels appear in the world. Also, please explain how the unconditioned living entities exist.
The independent personality of Godhead enjoys his pastimes by his internal potency, and at the time of annihilation gives him up to the external potency, and he remains a witness to it all.
O great sage, representative of the Lord, kindly satisfy my inquisitiveness in all that I have inquired from you, and all that I may not have inquired from you from the very beginning of my questionings. Since I am a soul surrender to you, please impart full knowledge in this connection.
O great sage, you are as good as Brahma, an original living being. Others follow custom only, as followed by the previous philosophical speakers.
O learned Brahmana, because of my drinking the nectar of the messages of the infallible personality of Godhead, which is flowing down from the ocean of your speeches, do not feel any sort of exhaustion due to my fasting.
Sutta Goswami said, thus Sukadeva Goswami, being invited by Maharaja Parikshit to speak on topics of Lord Sri Krishna with the devotees, was very much pleased.
He began to reply to the inquiries of Maharaj Parikshit by saying that the signs of the personality of Godhead was spoken first to the Lord himself, to Brahma, when he was first born. Srimad Bhagavatam is the supplementary Vedic literature and is just in pursuance of the Vedas.
He also prepared himself to reply to all that King Parikshit had inquired for him. Maharaja Parikshit was the best in the dynasty of the Pandavas, and thus he was able to ask the right questions from the right person.
So that's the final verse of this chapter, entitled Questions by King Parikshit. We're going to go back to 24 and look into give a closer look into the purport. Sarvamita cha Bhagavan Sarvamita cha Bhagavan Sarvamita cha Bhagavan Nijato me nupurvashaha Nijato me nupurvashaha Nijato me nupurvashaha Tattvato rahas udhartum Tattvo rihas udharatum Tattvato rihas udharatum Prapanaya mahamune Prapanaya mahamune Prapanaya mahamune Pritchatome Nupurvashaha Tatvatoriha Sudharatum Brahmanaya Mahamune
Sarvamitascha Bhagavan.
Sarvamitascha Bhagavan.
Shatome Nupurvasha.
Pritchatome Nupurvasha.
Shuddhartum.
Tatvatorasudhartum.
Apanaya Mahamune.
Prapanaya
Sarvamatacha Bhagavan.
Sarvamitascha Bhagavan.
Varchitome Nupurvasa.
Pritchatome Nupurvasha.
Tattvaturvasi Uddhatam.
Tatvatorasudhartum.
Kripanaya Mahamune.
Prapanaya Mahamune.
Sarvametacha Bhagavan.
Sarvametacha Bhagavan.
Pritchato mena purvasha.
Pritchatome Nupurvasha.
Tattvato Rashuddhartam.
Tatvatorasudhartum.
Prapanaya Mahamune.
Prapanaya Mahamune.
Sarvametacha Bhagavan.
Sarvametacha Bhagavan. Pritchatome Nupurvasha.
Tattvato
Anybody else? Interesting. We had so many varieties of tunes and melodies. Word by word. Altogether, Sarvam, all these, they got 8 words. Shah, all of that. Bhagavan. Just in accordance with the truth, as I see here, and kindly explain. Prana, surrender. Mahamuni. Altogether, O great sage, representative of the Lord, kindly satisfy my inquisitiveness, and all that I inquire from me, and all that I may not inquire from the Since I am so surrendering to you, please impart full knowledge to this connection. Everyone do some purport. Okay, okay. Let's balance it out.
The spiritual master is always prepared to impart knowledge to the disciple, and specifically when the disciple is inquisitive. Inquisitiveness on the part of the disciple is greatly necessary for the progressive disciple. Maharaj Parikshit is a typical disciple because he is perfectly inquisitive. If one is not very inquisitive about self-realization, one need not approach a spiritual master simply to make a show of discipleship. Not only is Maharaj Parikshit inquisitive concerning all he has inquired about, but he is also anxious to know about what he has not been able to inquire. Factually, it is not possible for a man to inquire about everything from the spiritual master, but the bona fide spiritual master is able to enlighten the disciple in every way for the disciple's benefit.
Om Jnana Durandasya Jnanvinashaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master has kindly opened my eyes to the torchlight of knowledge. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances to those spiritual masters. So, Parikshit is receiving end. It was by the providence that Shukadeva just wandered in a place known as Sukratala. It's about 100 kilometers, what's that, 80 miles up north from Delhi. halfway to Haridwar, which is the kind of gateway to the Himalayas. And if you keep going, it just gets better, it just gets better and better, cleaner and purer, untouched by the. What India actually suffers the most today is this post-industrial inability to manage, because they were never really like that. They're always, just like the rest of the world, agrarian society, but somehow they skip that. And they skip, so they were, and still are suffering from this inability to manage this kind of this industrial push. And, and poverty. But the more upstream you go, the more upstream of Ganga you go, the cleaner and purer it is. So this place where 5,000 years ago this conversation took place, arranged by the Providence, and Shukadeva, the 16-year-old boy, came and was recognized by all the assemblies, sat down and spoke for 7 days straight. No eating, no drinking. Parikshit was so locked in, absorbed, because his life depended on it. Literally, it was a matter of life and death. But he, in the same time, he kept a cool head. One of the prerequisites of bhakti is cool head. So although he was cursed, he wasn't freaking out. But he went to the bank of the Ganges, and that place is Sukhatown, beautiful place, filled with nature, forest, birds chirping, and flowers and whatnot. But yet his single focus was rapid attention of absorbed in the nectar coming from the lotus mark of Sukadeva Goswami. We sing every morning Guru Ashtaka and Guru Bandhan, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya, Chitete Koriyakya. Ye Prashade Turi Sarva Asha. The words, my only desire is that my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. And the attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. So if you have any desires, no worries. Just attach yourself to the lotus feet of Mahabharata. And all your desires will be fulfilled completely, actually more than expected, as Dhruva Maharaj lamented later on in Bhagavatam. I had all these desires, but now that I have received your darshan, my Lord, I'm lamenting. I was looking for the broken pieces of glass. Now that I have a real thing, a jewel, the real value. He was lamenting like that. So, all the purposes are served in the same well, if we find that spot, and that is the lotus feet of the Mahabharata. So, person Bhagavad, attaching ourselves to his lotus feet is what we do every day, not just by coming for kirtans, but also what we do the rest of the day. Our service is the best way we can amplify any kirtan. It's what happens between the kirtans is what matters. So, Krishna lunch, Sri Anga Sankirtan Jagya, Prashad, books, Harinam, and a very special UF Kirtan here at our doorstep. What an opportunity. It is it's like a launch pad. It's a launch pad for going back home, back to God. Back home, back to Godhead Ki. Srila Prabhupada Ki. So this beautiful place, and if you keep going upstream, you will find also my favorite place. I never been that north. I never even been to Haridwar, but What I've heard and what I've seen for this confluence of three rivers, Deva Prayag, it's so beautiful. Apparently, there's a cave of Vyasadeva that's found there as well. Actually, this whole Bhagavatam is the offering of Srila Vyasadeva to his spiritual master. It's a glorification of Srila Vyasadeva, of his spiritual master, who is Narada Muni, yes. It's all over Bhagavatam. So many pastimes, all the way to the 10th canto. And he comes and accelerates the upcoming of Krishna, Swami Bhagavan, by talking to Kamsa. He's there with Dhruva Maharaj. He's there with Prahlad Maharaj. Narada Muni is all over. He's all over Bhagavatam. So Vyasadeva is writing Bhagavatam as a glorification of the spiritual master. So in this purport, we hear how essential this relationship is. It's actually our life and soul. Our relationship to our spiritual master is our life and soul. And it can only work if both transmitter and receiver are functional. You might be very inquisitive. You might be very, very eager to get out of this, what we established earlier, this Marcha Loka. It's a problem. But it is a problem only for those who are awakened. If you're completely seduced and sleepwalking, seduced by artificial comforts and securities of this world, you'll be, no, thank you. Gopi or Amrita will be approaching you with a book, and you'll be like, no, thank you. I'm all set. Big, big problem. The onslaught of material existence is going on. Again and again. We are recycled in this world. So therefore, Vedanta Sutta says, now is the time to inquire. Ataka Brahma Jigyasa. Don't delay, don't procrastinate. Now that you have time, and now that you have this precious human birth, no other form grants that facility to inquire, to be inquisitive. Actually, Prabhupada said, everybody inquires, but to what extent? Even the birds, when they wake up in the morning, they look left and right. What do they inquire? Where is food? Where is food? Food. I translate to the bird language. Where is food? Where is food? Where is that worm? Yesterday, somebody told me it was her and Bruce. They were just standing there in front of the blue cooler. What happened, Bruce? All of a sudden, there's this huge hawk. Was it a hawk, right? Yeah. A hawk came out of nowhere, just swooshed down and stood there on that pole. There's one pole next to the side porch. Just stood there. And then they didn't notice what was happening. But then soon after, and then in his claw, he had something that Bruce thought it was just a straw. But no hawk is interested in straw. He had a little lizard that is scooped and just flew away with it. So Jivasya Jiva Jivanam. There's one living entity is the food for another. So what a wonderful place, right? Just zoom in. If you have any romantic ideas about this world being a wonderful place, and you think about putting this special set of curtains for your room, to get comfortable, just zoom in a little closer and you'll see you'll be running in an opposite direction. Krishna, save me. So Krishna gives us Guru, and then Guru gives us Krishna. So we can become inquisitive. So we can inquire. You can be the best receiver. You can have full of questions. But unless it is a proper and functional transmitter that we had a great fortune to come across with some unimaginable fortune, will come into contact of such a bona fide representative, authorized representative of Brahma Madhva, Gaudiya Sampradaya, or Parampara. Parampara means literally from one to another, to another, to another. It's passed down. Brahmanda Brahmite Kon Bhagavanji. By some unimaginable good fortune, you will come across, after wandering for so long, loitering in this material world for so long. Finally, we come across with Srila Prabhupada and this movement that is still a living tradition. So we're interested, one of the points in the purpose, we're interested in real questions in a living tradition, not just any fluff and bluff from the armchair philosophers, but the real application in the living tradition. How do we do this without the help of a guru? We can't. So it's absolute necessity. That's why in another dialogue, who remembers the verse from the Gita that kind of it's a cross-reference to this one? What will be the similarity? Yeah. One who is trying to surrender, trying to ask questions. What's the verse in the Gita? Yes, 434. Davidi Pranipatena. Go ahead, Gopal.
Just something like just try to approach unified spiritual master.
Can you all hear it? Maybe you can use the mic. Grab mic. Give man a microphone. Very important. There's three things in this verse that are very important for any aspiring disciples, and I believe that's all of us. So please listen attentively. We're going to try to distill three things.
Just try to approach a bona fide spiritual master, inquire from him submissively. Self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you.
Yeah, that's one. So what are the three things? Approach, meaning surrender, yes.
Acquire submissively. Render service.
And render service. So all three things, like a jackpot, like that. All the grapes, all the grapes, or all the lemons, or whatever there's rotating there. They have to be lined up, and it's a jackpot. Then you get all the goods, all the cha-chings, and they come out. All the value is subtracted. So approaching a proper transmitter or a person who is in an authorized way connected with a chain of similar connectors all the way to Krishna, because Krishna is the Adi Guru, he's the Chaita Guru in the heart also, he's the original Guru. So it's all coming from him. So we're dealing with a chain of representatives, Krishna's representatives, that they carry the same Shakti. So, surrendering, then when you surrender, you inquire. You start inquiring about it, absolutely. Don't use, as another point in the purport, don't use your spiritual master as a shrink or a doctor or somebody who will solve your material dilemmas. He might, out of his kindness, but mostly it's for the purpose of spiritual growth. Not just how can we make our material situation comfortable. And then third one is service, in reciprocation to, the knowledge and the value that we get, we want to reciprocate. Challenging spirit and absurd questions are not recommended in that relationship. Absurd questions or irrelevant questions and challenging spirit. It's something that Prabhupada. Actually, let's look at that purport. Because there's a following verse that also sheds a lot of light of what are the
25?
434. Bhagavad Gita 434. In the purport, the Prophet said that, go down. Oh,
One has to approach.
go down more.
Past the terrace.
There you go. The blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. We don't want to just blind follow. We have to question. This is, again, the purpose of human existence, to question. So, but we have to question in a way that it's relevant. And the next verse, you will be benefited in 435. It says that having obtained real knowledge, and this section now actually glorifies the boon or the mercy of the spiritual master that we become recipient of. Having obtained the real knowledge from the self-realized soul, you'll never fall again into such illusion. Hey, that's a nice perk, right? You will never fall. For by this knowledge, you will see all the living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, they are mine. You will become a part of Krishna's family. And the way Krishna observes this world is that everybody is part of him and they are mine. So it's Krishna's family. You become part of Krishna Gotra. Sometimes when you go in India, they ask you what Gotra you are or what family you belong to. So as an initiated devotee of Prabhupada's movement, or any bona fide sampradaya, you can say I'm part of Krishna Gotra, then you're a transcendentalist, not as a mundane. Because ultimately, we're not interested in anything mundane as aspiring transcendentalists. But we use this world for the purpose of spreading Krishna consciousness. And one thing that actually really stuck out with me in our attempts to spread Krishna consciousness, seeing others as part of the Supreme is essential. Otherwise, we might fall into the most dangerous trap in the history of humankind. And that is the trap of othering. It's artificial and of ourselves or others from ourselves or others. So othering is something that it's, as a phenomenon, has been the most effective weapon of this illusion. It's just been picking us apart. Just picking us apart one by one. So I have no relation with others, or even more dangerous, I'm better than you. How about that for mindset? You heard that before? Did you felt that before? Talking to some, religious people. And how refreshing it is to actually flip the script and bring about a new reality. You are Prabhu. I'm a servant. I want to learn from you. I want to hear from you. So this mindset is being trained only in relation to spiritual master. So the more you allow yourself to, like Parikshit Maharaj, to be absorbed and wrapped in this wonderful, life-giving relationship, the more you'll be able to shine that throughout the world in relating to others as a menial servant of humankind. Okay, time is up. If there's comments or questions, if there's time for comments and questions, this will be now. One question. Okay. One question. No question. Or one comment. Either everything is clear or nothing is clear. Yes.
So for the statement that says you will never fall get into such illusion, is that like related to like the material world?
Actually, the problem is not to be in the material world. It is, but it is not. The problem is to think that this material world is all in all. And to think that there's some place for me in this material world. That's the illusion. That's the crux. That's the heart of the illusion. One does not drown by falling into a river. He drowns by staying submerged. So be careful. Be careful. All right. That was one question. Thank you very much. Oh.
So for the material world, like if you're like somewhere and if you want to get out of there, you would like want to like what would you like want to do to like get out of the illusion of like, I mean, because I know material world can be like a you get big pleasure, right? Or not?
So what is the question?
I'm saying like you get big pleasure from like being submerged into the material world.
Yeah.
How do you get out?
How do you get out?
Yeah.
No, you get picked up. Don't resist when somebody comes to pick you up. Don't resist. Just be like a kitten in a jaws of a cat. The kitten just freezes. It's mama. Then so, yeah, don't resist. If you start by resisting, then you make it harder. So you get picked up, and that's the mercy. And chant 16 rounds. That's how we cry out for mercy, chanting 16 rounds. We'll be wrapped in Guru Kripa. When we chant 16 rounds, we get wrapped up in this shield. So we become illusion resistant. Guru Kripa and Krishna Shakti. Minimum 16 rounds. Otherwise, there'll be holes in your shield and you'll be sticking out. Sinking again in the river. Right? Thank you very much. Prabhupada ki jai. Gandharaj Bhagavatam ki jai. Gopremanande.
Backup members have to be.